Hey everyone, today I will show you how you can model this cool product here, and you will learn amazing surface modeling techniques, tips and tricks, how you can combine different shapes and forms with surfaces. So that's a really nice plasticity 3D modeling practice. And this will be your result. And let's directly jump into our tutorial with a new file. And by the way, our Black Week's super sale is ending very soon. So if you want to learn and really master plasticity in much more depth and learn how to model complex designs like cars, all sorts of different products, motorcycles, power tools, helmets, then check out first link below the description. And all of the courses are completely beginner friendly with a lot of practices, exercises that will really make you familiar with all the fundamental tools and techniques. And then it's a completely step-by-step structured way to model these complex projects. And with these techniques, you will be able to model then your own projects as our students, which you can check out here in the reviews. And if you scroll down, a lot of amazing results. So let's check out this product, and link in the description, because you will need this image. So we have just a perfect front image. So you can just make a screenshot and download that image to your desktop. And let's go to Plasticity, delete the cube. So select it here with object mode and then X. Then click here on the top or at the front. And then just go import append and select that image. And now I will just bring it, so here where our coordinate system in the middle, I will just bring it here to the middle of the circle. It's not that important, but yeah, why not? So something like that. Also, I will select that image, and with G, I will just bring it back a little bit. And now press M and click here on the front and make it opacity like 0.3 or 4. And OK, and also select the lock here so you don't select that in the viewport. Perfect. Go to the front, and I will just go a little bit quicker, so I will explain everything, but I will not tell you like where to find the circle, because if you're an absolute super beginner, then check out my beginner tutorials on YouTube, or buy one or two of my plasticity beginner courses to learn the basics. So we will need a center circle. Just snap it here to the middle and drag that out and snap to the x-axis, something like that. Shift D to duplicate, and let's bring it here to the right. And let's connect them now. And for that, we will just use a corner rectangle and snap to the 1/4 view and the 3/4 view, and press T for the trim command to trim away here those middle lines. Right click, press 2 edge mode, select all of those edges, press J to join them, and now press O to offset this curve, because you see the outer shape is exactly the same shape. So something like that. And now, because we need obviously some thickness, right? So here I also loaded a second image into PureRef, this program is called, so we can just check it out as a reference. And we see obviously we have some thickness, so I will just select both of those curves and just with G, bring them a little bit out, maybe something like that. Press Alt X and select here. So I can just see if the proportions are more or less right. That looks good. And now I only select this inner circle shape here, and with G, bring it also a little bit out, because you see this is obviously a little bit more on the outside. And so something like that should be fine, I think. And now I want to create here this rectangular shape at the front. And for that, I will just use a little trick. I will just create a line and snap it from here to here, so in the front view. So something like that. And obviously I will just eyeball it. So I will just show you the techniques and workflows. So you should spend just a little bit more time and care with that. because I don't want to be that tutorial too long. So now we know where our rectangle should be. So let's go now and to the left view. Oh, so we see it. Yeah, so we see it like in that perspective. And now we will create again a corner rectangle and just snap to the top point and just drag that down until this point and just drag that out here a little bit to the right. And it will be the same length as this long curve that we have already created, right? So here is the endpoint, so I will just snap it somewhere here. Okay, so we have something like that, but now we see it's just straight, but it's not on an angle. So we can do something very simple. So we go again to this front view, press 1, select those points, and then with G, we will just drag them back, right? So kind of a little cheat. And we have something like that. And now just find here in the outline and the curve, this one, and just press X to delete it. And that looks fine. Okay, so now we can start to create some surface. Oh, and also what we want to do is, so if we check here the reference image, we see, so this curve surface is a little bit curved. So obviously that's a very complex shape. So we would have to create a few more curves and stuff, but I will just simplify it a little bit for the tutorial. But again, like the workflow is everything exactly the same, but still we need a little bit here, because right now it's just straight. We need a little bit of a curve. And for that, we can just select this curve and press Shift S to subdivide. And then we can just take this outer point, and with G, just bring it a little bit outside. Again, I'm just simplifying that a little bit. So something like that should be fine. Okay, now let's create our first few surfaces. So if you check here the reference image, you see that, it's just like this surface is perfectly just sweeping around kind of, right? So we can do that by creating a line and just snap here to those points that you have already on the curve, but just make sure that this line is really snapped to both of those curves. And again, select the curve and Shift S to subdivide it and just give it again a little rounding. So select Shift S, select the point and just give it here a tiny little rounding. And now with 2 edge mode, you can select this curve. And if you press F and if you search for sweep, you can sweep this around this curve here. Right click, select this curve, hide it. And let's also close this surface. So just select the curve and patch it. So press F and then patch. Perfect. And now press 2, select those 2 curves and hide them. And we have our first result. And now we want to do something important. So there are actually a lot of different ways how you can do that, to various degrees of like how good the quality will be. But just I want to show you something that you understand it. If you check here, this thing, right? So you see that we have here the surface, which is like going around what we have. But at some point, and we will now in a second create here the second circle, right? So second surface. But then we have to somehow smoothly connect those guys, right? And you see here, the surface still has the shape of this whole surface, but here kind of it's connecting with this surface, right? So we have to leave a little bit of a surface here. So we have to leave this surface. So this, okay, so this will be our surface. And here we will leave the hole and then later patch it. because we will need this little piece of a surface. So we have then G1 continuity information. So it's again hard to explain. So I will just show it to you. But what we have to do, it's very simple. So press 3, face mode, select only this face. And now we have to cut just a little piece out. And we can do that if you press F, isoparam. So, bam. And now you see it follows exactly here our, this curvature. And we will just, so here you have to play around and see what gives you the best result. But just something like that, okay? Just add an extra edge. And now in face mode 3, select this face and Shift X to delete it, right? Because now we have the surface and we have this edge. And this will give us then G1 continuity in a second. But first, let's create here a surface. So we know that this edge will connect to this point, right? So here's this edge that we have, this one, and it will perfectly connect to this point, right? So we will just have this nice long edge. And then we also have to create this on the bottom, and then we can fill that out. So for that, first of all, let's fill that as a surface. So select the curve, press F and patch it, and select the curve again and hide it. And now very simple, select this outer curve and shift click this curve. And now let's go here to the front view and press F, and we just have to bridge those edges. So we will bridge them. But now we have to change this direction. So go to Sense 1 and click, or Sense 2. You have to try out what works for you. And here, obviously, you have to click it on G0 because we just want like a sharp corner, so it goes like to the right. But we don't want G2, we just want G1. So again, there are like a lot of different ways how we can do that. Just a very simple one. So G1 is fine, but you have to press D and just reduce the tension, you see, because the curve is too much, it has too much rounding. So press D and just, or you can also take this little gizmo and just drag that a little bit closer, because we need here G1, so we then can later patch it, and it will just give us a better result. So you could also go with G0, but then you will not be able to patch it then very smoothly with G1 later. So give it G1, take this gizmo and just drag that and make it here like very tight. Okay, let's check that out, and this looks great. And now the same for the bottom. And for that, I will create a line and snap again to this outer point and go again to this front view and create a line until here where the curvature starts. And let's create this curve. So you see we have to connect this curve with this edge. And just a very simple way is, if you go to the control point curve, so select this and go to the control point curve, again front view, and just make sure that you snap here and just drag that out on the x-axis, so we will have again G1. So something like that. And now let's just create a simple curve. So I will create one point and then just connect here, press 1, and I will just adjust the point. And I will also select this point and with G just drag that out a little bit. So something simple like that. And that looks fine. And now let's create here a surface, because then we have on the right the surface, and then we will have on the left the surface, and then we will be able to create here a nice patch or X-snaps or whatever. So to do that, again, we will create the line and just snap already to this point where we have an edge break. So snap to this point and then look, for example, here where you can snap. And again, it's like millions of different ways how you can do that. So sometimes you just have to pick one, see what results you get. If you don't get the best results, just try another technique or experiment around. So let's snap here to the closest curve, right click and subdivide it again, Shift S, because still we need a curvature here or like some rounding. So select that, go to the left view and with G just drag that out. So you see, you just give the curve also a little bit of a curvature. Okay, and now press 2 and now we just want to close that. So select this curve and this edge and loft this. Obviously G0 because sharp edge, and shift click here to this curve and shift click to this curve. If this does not work, just make sure that the curve is touching all of those other curves. Right click and now select this curve and hide it with H, very important, and perfect. So you see, it's not exactly the shape because we would have to create more curves. We would also have to create this curve. But I encourage you, like just follow me with the tutorial and then just remove it and then try to do it on your own. And this way you will learn so much. Now we have here a hole which is, has boundaries everywhere and edges. So you can either X-snaps that or we should be able to patch that. So press 2 and select all of those edges here and just patch it. And this looks already beautiful. But obviously we have to give here G1 and we have to give here G1, and here you see we can give G1, and you see this way it will just follow this shape here. That's why we left this little surface. And give here G1 and right click and look guys, this looks very nice. So I know it's not perfect, but it's like for the most simple technique, and especially if you would render that, give it like a rough material, it would look fine. But of course, if you spend more time, obviously you just get a better result. But yes, so let's just close everything. And for that, we just want to select all of those curves with edge mode and just hide them again. And now select this whole edge which goes around and Shift D to duplicate. And now let's go to this view here and press E for extrude. So you are in extrude, press F and snap to the curve anywhere. So here at the top, for example, and now you see you can just drag that out to the left along the X-axis and snap to the middle, right click, and this way you have now this kind of thickness. Press 2, select this curve, hide it again, select object mode, select all of those surfaces and join them. So you have one sheet, and we have to do one more important thing, because probably you will not be able to give here everywhere a nice fillet. So you can try that if you press 2 and if you alt click, so you just select this whole edge loop. You can try to give it a fillet, but okay, like interesting, a chamfer works, but not a fillet. So then we can even, so I wanted to do the manual fillet with the pipe, but the chamfer also works. So what I mean by that, let's give it a fillet, because we, as you see obviously here in the reference image, we have everywhere like a very nice smooth fillet. So I will just minimize that. So we have like a nice little chamfer, right click, and now press 3 and alt click. So you just select this whole loop of chamfer surface and select this one piece at the bottom too, and this front face, because we will not need anything, and Shift X. And now we are left with that, right? Because now again, we can just press 2 and select one edge after another, and with shift click and just loft it. And we give it a fillet, but one more little thing. You see we have, so this fillet, it has like a weird ending here, right? So it's not smoothly connecting those two edges. For that, a very simple trick. So before you loft that, first loft those edges or bridge them. So just select those edges here at the front and F and bridge and tap, tap, tap. Just leave it as G1 so you just have a curve. Do exactly the same at the bottom. Select this edge and this edge. Press F and select bridge. Tap, tap, tap. So it's just G1. Because now again, if you press 2 edge mode and you select those two edges and L loft it, with shift click you can add it now as a boundary to this curve, and now you see it looks perfect. Right click and let me hide that image in the background. So like that. And now you just go to the next one, shift and loft. And very important, click here again so it's connected. So it can be G0, G1 as you want, but it has to be connected. And now you just have to do it step by step everywhere. So I will just do it quickly. So I've added everywhere those fillets here. And I just deleted the curve and this little curve X. And now press 4, select all sheets and join them. And now Alt X and just mirror it to the other side. Join them again, press 2. And Alt click here this opening and just patch it, and it should work. Right click and perfect. And one problem, that it's still a sheet but it should be solid, so somewhere is a hole, but I don't know where. So you can select here object mode, select this whole sheet and press F and type find, and then you can find boundary edges, and then you see, we have here a tiny little opening here, and while this is selected you can just patch it, right click, and now you see it's solid, so you can work further with that, and you have you have a very nice result. If you like that and you want to learn even more and master plasticity, all the fundamental tools, technique, surface modeling, then I have the Black Week super sale, which is ending very soon. And first link below this video, you can check it out. I have description for all of the courses, so you can see if something is out of interest for you. And leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this tutorial, and have a nice day. Bye.